Okay, these last two things I want to talk about are not in the user guide, but they're available online. You can find other resources for the Ubuntu server as well. One is task select. Oh, you don't see my monitor? Thank you.
Task select?
You don't see my screen?
No.
Oh,
Negative.
let's try that again. Oh, I just had one person selected, that's why. So computer 31 could see me, but nobody else.
Okay,
Now you have it.
There we go.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about.
Many packages, especially server packages, can be installed individually on either desktop or a server edition. It's not necessary in general, therefore, to install Ubuntu server if you only want to use an occasional server package on a desktop. Most of the instructions for individual server packages will run on a server edition on the desktop or on a server edition that has a desktop installed on top of it. And we'll be doing that last today. Nevertheless, the server edition is optimized for speed and ease of monitoring and maintenance when implementing a large network and is therefore recommended. So we're going to do things the hard way. Could you do this more easily? I'm not.
Oh.
No, that's just my screen. I'm just talking. So that's actually a paragraph out of a different material that I was looking up. So basically, we're going to do things the hard way. We'll be having the command line here. We'll be doing a lot of things that way. But just realizing that you can do a lot of these things on the desktop. There's really not a huge difference in the desktop and the Ubuntu server. It really has to do with how they're optimized. The server is optimized for performance. A graphical user interface reduces that efficiency. Servers just shouldn't have a graphical user interface. All kinds of debate on that. We can talk round and round, but that's, if you're looking at the most efficient and squeezing every cycle out of that processor that you can and every byte out of a piece of memory, that's why it really comes with nothing. Ubuntu server has nothing installed on it, where the desktop has a lot of different things. There's no firewall on here right now, even. It's if you want the firewall. In fact, why don't you have a firewall? Well, is that unsecure? No, because you have no services running using any ports right now. You would actually have to install a service, even a web service. You can't even access things, through a web right now. So there's nothing running, so there's no need for that. So again, if you're looking for a straight server to provide a simple service, this is as efficient as it gets. With that said, a lot of times we work with groups of packages. So when we look at a LAMP server, which is a Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. That's a package, which means it's installing. It's like a task. It's like a group of them put together. So I want to do these functions as a whole, a LAMP server, but I need to install these different packages. So I could do this all individually. Or do you remember during the installation process, it asked you what type of server you want to do? If not, there's a video on it. Go back and watch it. There is a video, and it shows, there's a step, I should say, that says, do you want this to be a file server, a print server, or whatever. Those are functions. Those are not packages. There's not a print package. It's a function, and we need packages installed under there. Well, we can end up accessing that again a couple of different ways. One is called the task cell or task select command. We need to install it first, but we can do that by using our apt-get. So we're going to be using sudo apt-get. And we'll be installing it. It's called task select or task cell.
Are we supposed to be installing these on ours?
Sure, you can follow along with this if you want. We're not installing anything today, by the way, off this list. Later on, if also we do file services, we want that functionality so you can sort of see how that's done. And I hit enter. Now it's asking me for a password. going to download it. And it's done. Why did I do that? Now to run it, it's sudo, I need to run as root, so sudo task select. It's a double dash, and then the option is list tasks, list dash tasks. And you can see the different tasks.
Is it task or tasks?
Tasks.
All right. Task SEL space.
Here,
dash,
it's back on the
list,
screen.
dash, task.
Okay. Did you install task select?
Yeah, it said task select is already one of the already.
Okay, so you're all, so it's installed already for your, okay. Did you do the sudo task select
It's sudo
space?
Yeah.
space dash dash
So it's dash dash list tasks.
install task SEL task sudo
And this is showing what tasks you can do on there, or have on there. If I do it without any options on it, it actually brings up the menu that we get during the installation. And if you notice, you can arrow up and down. The basic Ubuntu server is selected. This is how we add and remove different things. We use the arrow key to scroll all the way down and scroll all the way up. So say we want it to be a print server. So I go onto print server and I hit the space bar, and that's going to mark that. Say I also want it to be a Samba file server, so I can select the different components that I want to add and remove. A DNS server, we're not going to do that yet. Let's just do a print server. I hit OK. So, no, Ubuntu, basic Ubuntu server is already selected. That's what we have installed, is the basic server. I went down to print server, and then, oh, you didn't see that? Oh.
that one. I just
Sometimes it lags.
sudo
Yeah,
task
so you might be
I will go down to print server,
that one.
arrow down to print server,
And then I just
hit the space bar to select it. It's going to put a little star next to it, and then hit enter.
task
Yes. It's sudo and then task cell with no options or no parameters.
Alright, it's sudo task space dash dash list
Only print
dash
server, right?
task. Then only a space task SEL.
And again, I'm just showing you sort of the more difficult way to the easier way. Obviously, the graphical is really good in this one. You just arrow up and down. I want it to be a Samba file server. Click, and then click go. Randy, question? I only, right now, I just installed print server.
Do you want us to install print server?
You don't have to, because I'm removing it in just a minute.
Oh.
But we installed Nmap before and removed it, and you know it's just a matter of getting used to it. So yeah, I would encourage you to install something. Well, not just anything. Go ahead and do the print one. Yes.
So installing, or so setting up one of these tasks, we're actually installing a whole bunch of packages, right?
Correct. Absolutely. When you're installing these tasks, And think of them more as features. If you took Windows Server, you think of them as a feature or as a service. When we think of file services, there's actually all kinds of stuff that goes underneath here. Like for printing, it's installing all kinds of packages. One is cups, which is the Linux printing system. So, but does it all as a whole? Now it's done, so it actually installed, and it brings you back to the command prompt. Yes?
I arrowed the print server, pressed enter.
No, not enter, spacebar. Spacebar toggles the star or not.
Then how do you get to OK?
Then you just hit enter.
All right, then you just enter.
Right. So I'm going to select this again. In fact, I'm going to type in sudo task cell again. It brings up the menu. And now it shows you what's installed or what you have selected. So you got to keep the basic Ubuntu server. That's like what you're working with. But I can add and remove things. Is my cursor moving on your screen or not? Or is it stuck? It doesn't show it going up and down?
Are you going up and down?
I am going up and down.
Just now.
Well, it's on print server right now. And if I hit space again, you can remove a task, and then it's going to go to the package manager and remove all the associated packages. But being a good package manager, it's not going to remove other dependencies. Sometimes if you remove Windows programs, it says, oh, there may be a shared program here. Are you sure you remove this? Or what do you want to do with it? I don't know what to do with it. This doesn't ask you. It actually keeps track of all the packages and all the dependencies. And there's no guessing of like, oh, this may be used by something else because it's a shared DLL. It's saying, no, this is being used, so I'm going to keep this. So if your screen doesn't show it, I apologize, but I hit the space bar next to print server, and that removed the asterisk. And now if I hit enter on here, it's actually going to remove all those packages. And if I do sudo task select again, it's going to show that it's selected. It's supposed to remove it. And of course it's not going to. Well, maybe the print one doesn't remove. I didn't test that one. Maybe once print's installed, it's installed. That is a pretty core component. But sorry, bad example. But that's how you can install packages. So, like 2 weeks from now, when we talk about remote management, we're going to need OpenSSH. And this would be the really easy way of going through and adding OpenSSH. I'm going to add it, and it's going to be there. Yes?
But can you install it just in the command line where we were before?
You can, absolutely. But you'd have to do all the individual packages. So you'd have to do an apt get install whatever, apt get install whatever. I'm sorry?
So it'd be like apt get.
Print server isn't a specific. No, print server isn't an app. Isn't a package. Cups would be a package, and cups is a portion of the print server system. So you'd have to know all those different parts of it, right? So these are combinations. Like perfect example is LAMP. Perfect example because it's going to install Apache. It's going to install MySQL. It's going to install PHP, and those are all individual packages. And then plus all their supporting packages and everything go with them. So, and that's like the easiest example because it's actually showing I'm installing 3 packages as a LAMP, Apache MySQL. So I may be wrong on removing. I know you can definitely add through here. So, okay, 1 second. Yes.
I don't know if I missed it before, but for doing the apt gets and installing, how can you get a list of what there is available to install? When we were just typing in like
You would have to look at some other. You'd have to look at some other documentation. I don't know if you can use the apt-get command to list all the possible packages. It'd be really crazy. That's where aptitude might come in handy. By the way, if you don't want to make any changes to your task select, you just hit escape. The escape key gets you out of the task select and back to the command prompt. The apt-get command, if I want to see what packages are available, might be pretty daunting since it had like, I don't know, 30, 40,000 options. That'd be a really long list. That might be where aptitude would come in handy, because you can sort of, 58,000, 59,000. This is where you can hit enter and you sort of, drill down to where you want to go. I want to go to games. Oh no, we want to do education. So I go to education, and they don't have any fully supported free software on your education. I guess education is not very important. We just have unsupported stuff. And there's Scratch. Scratch is an easy, interactive, collaborative programming environment designed for creation of interactive stories, animations, games, music, and art. And so there's a program that you could install. Now, since you know it's called Scratch, I could then go back to the command line and say apt-get install Scratch, because that's the package name. As opposed to hitting the plus sign, hitting G twice, hitting enter, typing the password, and hitting G a third time. Apt-get Scratch. Pseudo aptitude is what I typed to get to here. And to get out of aptitude, it's Q. So you get pseudo aptitude. And you can use aptitude command line just like you would apt-get. So you could put sudo aptitude install, and then I'm not going to install this because I have no idea how big this is. If it's a programming environment, it could be small or it could be massive, and I don't want to download it if it's big. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about today is, in fact, the server is optimized by not having a graphical user interface. Can you add a graphical user interface to the server? Yes, you can. In fact, if you looked closely under the task select, that was actually one of the selections to choose a desktop. The other way to do that is using the apt-get. So just getting the practice of doing apt-get, we're going to install a package called Ubuntu Desktop.
Are we doing that?
Yeah. The aptitude one? Q. Or, well, if it's task select, it's escape. If it's aptitude, it's Q.
Did I say no?
I don't know.
I said no before, but then it just had me.
You said no before.
Display I don't know what that is.
No, I said no, but then it just went me.
Back to the command line.
Oh, command line. Sorry, Dean. So, sudo apt-get install, and we're going to install a package called Ubuntu Desktop. I sure want to continue. That's all the stuff that's going to load up on top.
So yes.
Yes. Or just hit enter because Y is capital, that's the default. So, but as you start working with this, it's not horrible. Is it? No. And this is a one-time thing, so you just install the desktop and then it's there. Every time you want to use it, you don't have to reinstall it.
So, if you install desktop,
Yes.
next time you boot, it'll just come with a graphical, or do you have to manually start it? Like,
That's a good question. I will show you how to start and stop it, though. That's what I'm going to show you next.
well, don't you use
But I'm not
start
sure if it's... Yes.
next? That's what we learned on Linux 1.
Sure.
And every time we started our virtual machine, it will start manually.
And you type start X to get into it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this does. Well, let's try it.
That was more. We always had to start X to access the graphical. For instance, by default, it's going to be with the login screen.
We'll reboot and try it to see if it starts up automatically in the graphical. There are ways, if it does not, there's ways of managing that. Sort of like through the Windows control panel of what applications to start automatically and auto run type things. Yeah. We're not going to do that though. We're going to leave it whatever it does default to. I'm not sure what this defaults to. With everybody doing this at the same time, I have a really long download time. It's a lot faster when you do it by yourself. Yes, Sean.
How come it didn't prompt you to put a password in?
It's I don't know the timing, but I feel horrible for using iPad examples all the time. Anybody have an iPad? Or like a device, something like that, or an iPod, where you buy something from the store, you have to enter your password. You don't have to enter your password every time, so once you're in the store, you can buy another one, and another one, and another one without re-entering your password. What is it, like a 15-minute time frame, 10-minute time frame? I don't know what it is. So, by the way, that's just a word of caution. If you have such device, and you do decide to even do an update, even an update requires you to add a password, don't give the device to your child or to a friend or neighbor, because they actually have complete access to the Apple Store at whatever price it is without a password. And this is the same thing, and I don't know the timing. Like we took a break, I came back, every time I typed sudo, I had to enter the password. Now I'm just typing sudo and scrolling right back in, so I don't know the time frame. You probably, on the Apple device? No, you can't. You don't have the control. Probably on Ubuntu you can, somewhere. Because you have complete control over everything, so.
So this is gonna take you into class break.
And this is made for the end of the class. We're going to finish the install. The only thing I was going to show you in here is how to stop and start it. If we have time, I'll show this to you. We're almost done. When you do everybody playing the desktop, Ubuntu desktop, we installed it. You're all logged onto it. You all turned it off. From the upper right hand corner to the little power button, you clicked on that, and then you said shut down or turn off. I think it's shut down. You shut down. That is how you exit the GUI. It does not shut down your server. It brings you back to the command prompt. So that's how you get yourself out of the graphical user interface. And this is debatable whether we're done or not before the end of class, but that's how you get out of the GUI. To get back into the GUI, it's start X. Marco is asking the question, does it go into the GUI automatically when you start your server with the Ubuntu desktop enabled? I don't think it does, but it may. I haven't tried it on 12.04, but I'm guessing it's going to come back to the command prompt, and then you just type start X whenever you want it or need it. Being a server again, you typically don't want it starting every time. You just want to be able to, use it as you need it. Then you type start X, and then you can do Facebook, and you can do your online gaming, and all that kind of stuff as good network administrators do on a production server. A little solitaire, little office documents.
One word or start.
Start X is one word or one command. Not case sensitive. And you don't even need sudo, I don't think. No, anybody can run start X. To shut down your machine, then you still need to type, you need to shut down out of the GUI. That brings you back to the command prompt, and then you do the shut down now command with the -H and then the dash. I did the -P as well. Capital P for powering off. Kill all. Not the best way. That's if you're completely stuck.
It's capital P.
But if you sudo it, then
Dash
H dash capital P.
dash H dash capital P. Yes. Sudo shutdown now -H space dash capital P. Now some people on their virtual machines tried it without the -P and it actually did power off. It didn't on mine every time though. It would halt like it's supposed to do, but then I had to manually turn it off. But -P forces it off. I don't know what's better. Once you shut down your server, what are you going to do? Snapshot. Take a snapshot. And then what else are you going to do? Make a backup of it
Delete your VMware. Why would you back it up?
onto another drive.
Why?
Because if your drive fails,
Then what do you do?
all it requires is a reinstall,
Back it up.
which is not a big deal.
Yeah, but it's not a class requirement to have 2 external hard drives. So if I back it up to my home computer, what good does it do me here?
Get another hard drive.
That's not a class requirement.
You're right. Backing up is not a class requirement. You don't get graded for backups. You will get graded if you don't have what you need.
You should make it a class requirement.
I may make it a class requirement in the future of requiring 2 hard drives.
Good.
It's a class requirement. I just bought a terabyte Toshiba for $79.
Where? I thought about it.
I'm going to make each of you buy a 2 32 gig flash drives. You'll be running a VMware off a flash drive.
USB 3 flash.
Mine's USB 3.
I have not seen other USB 3 flash drives. Okay, this is going to take a while for downloading. Like I said, when you're by yourself on a network, it does not take this long. And it brings you right into the exact graphical user interface as the Ubuntu desktop does. So the same bar across the left-hand side, you have your dash up on top, you have your power in the upper right-hand corner. Knowing how to navigate around there would be a really good idea. To get out of the graphical and back into the text, one is you can actually run terminal within the desktop. In fact, here, we're going to do that real quick since I have 16 minutes. I'm going to open up Ubuntu desktop. I'm going to show you a couple things around there. Certainly boots fast. Password is my password. You can do all these things through the terminal. Probably the easiest way to get to the terminal, you can navigate through your folders and sort of look around for all that stuff. I really like the dash home. You just type what you want to look for. If I want a terminal, I just start typing TER for terminal, and you actually have 3 different terminal applications that you could work with. Terminal is the basic one, and if you click on terminal, it just brings you into a terminal, and then you can run all your sudo commands or whatever. man apt-get. So if you're in the graphical interface, user interface, and you feel a little lonely without the command line, you can always go to terminal. Type exit to get out of the terminal. When you're all done, it brings you back into here. It's sort of the reverse working on the server. So you actually exit the terminal to get to the graphical user interface. You'll be exiting the graphical user interface by going to shut down. And when you shut down on the server, it actually just brings you back to the command line. And then you still need to do the command line, shutdown command.
So if you're installing a package and say you have to wait for some reason,
Yes.
you stop, like say it's at 30% or whatever, you stop it, will it become more left on?
In the real world or in the VM world? In the real world, you got to keep going. It's on a physical machine. In the virtual world, you can stop it. And that's a virtual thing that's nothing to do with the server, and that works with any operating system. So let me switch over to my server, and oops, the next one. It says, oh my word, I have 21 minutes left. It's gone up. I have 18 minutes left. I just don't have the time. You can go up to VM. Let me get out of this screen. This little button up here, it's a pause button. It freezes it at that moment in time with an exact file copy and everything. And then you come back and you hit the resume button, and it brings you right back to where you were. So this exact situation, it's 20 minutes, I'm in another class, I won't be able to make it. I pause it, and then I can shut down my physical computer. And I bring my physical computer back up. I relaunch VMware Workstation. I open up this VM, and it says, do you want to resume it? And then I can resume it right where I was. That's really cool. Previous versions were a little unstable with that. Sometimes they resumed, and sometimes they didn't, especially if you're doing something really active like an install, like where there's lots of disk access. I've done it multiple times, many times in VM8, and so far, just my experiences have been always successful. I've not had any of my resumes fail. So that's an excellent way of doing it. There's a little drop down here. I can power it off, suspend it, whatever. It's this suspend that you're looking for. So I'm actually suspending its state. And then again, like I said, you can actually turn it off. There's this, shut down, I should say, shut down VMware Workstation and turn off your computer, because it's all saved in the files. That's a VM thing, though. You can do that if you virtualize servers. There's the ESXi server. You can suspend hosts there too. So if you're doing, like, you want to be interactive with it, I'm not done, I suspend it, I come back the next day, I resume where I was. I'm down to 15 minutes, and then I'm up to 25. Oh, now I'm 37 minutes.
23, 25,
Down to 60 then.
27.
And again, we have 20 people all accessing, going across the same one physical line that leaves the room. one 100 megabit line divided by 20, so it gives you each 5.
You should make your own repository of all of this.
I should.
On campus.
I could make my own repository of all that stuff. I could put it on my laptop.
Probably.
We have a bunch of servers in the back room, though. That's an excellent idea. And then you just change that list, and then it's pointing to there, and it'll download in no time.
Yep. And we get a better idea how repositories work.
That would be a great idea. Of how we can make our own repository, so you can see how that all works. Because you can make lots of mirror sites. Yeah. I'm not sure how to do that. I'd have to learn. We could become a mirror site, though.
What?
Oh, I'm down to 8 minutes. So my guess is that a bunch of you just dropped off because you didn't want to wait. Awesome. That makes mine go faster.
13. Woohoo! Wait, 19. Yes. 16. I bet it goes to 23 now. Oh, 7. That was a big jump. 9. Oh,
I was down to 6.
I was down to 7. Now I'm up to 20 again. That's awesome. 11. $13. Come on, everybody, shut down. I never said I was very nice. See? I am very nice.
You are.
Okay, down everything now. Now it's actually installing it all. See how long this takes.
Yep.
You still see my screen there? It's all done once you get back to your command prompt. And like I said, you do need to type in start X to bring up the graphical environment. Once it does, it's going to be identical to the Ubuntu desktop. And like I said, you can use the dash home. You can type in terminal to get to your terminal. You can navigate if you want. You do have your word processor on here. You have your games. Of course, we all want to play games on our servers. To get out of the graphical user interface, the GUI environment, we say shut down, which seems kind of awkward. But we click shut down. Are you sure you want to close the programs to shut down the computer? Yes, I do. And it brings me back to the command line. So I'm still at the command line. If I want to shut down my server, it's shut down now -H and then -P to actually shut down your physical server. I won't do that until you have any other questions. Sean?
Once it finished downloading it, how do you unpack it?
It does everything automatically during the install.
Yeah, mine says it's not installed, but to install it, type sudo apt-get install x init.
Okay, if that's what I told you to do.
A bunch of errors.
I got an error.
Maybe the download's incomplete the way they're supposed to. Try running the command again. The apt-get install Ubuntu -desktop.
Program says currently not installed.
I'd probably do it at a different time since class officially got over 3 minutes ago. So well, you can welcome to stay. I'm here all afternoon. But it's my prep time. So I have to get ready for my other 5 classes. So questions, comments? Okay, so let me just hit enter here to shut down. Oh, sudo. Sudo is shut down now -H -P. And password for my password. Shut down my machine, brings you right back to my VMware screen, and go to VM, snapshot, take snapshot, post, package management, and I take my snapshot. And that's it. Other questions or comments? Yeah, if yours failed, I probably want to take a snapshot of that. I'll probably just restart that again. Yes, Sean?
This says similar thing failed or whatever. It says unable to fetch some archives. And it says maybe run apt-get update. So you just type
Right.
apt-get
Sudo
update.
apt-get update.
Do I have to specify that to update?
No, when you update all the lists. All the lists get updated. Did you run that before though in class? During class? Do we do the sudo apt-get update?
No, I didn't.
Ah, okay, we did that. So that could very well be why. Make sure that you're typing the sudo apt-get update to do all those lists updates, so when it tries to install the desktop, it's going to have all the latest versions. Okay, if you have any other questions, just stick around. Other than that, have a good week.